ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Cage Review. My name is Kevin Jackwitz, and I'm going to do a review for Ant-Man The Wasp. This is my spoiler review, so if you have not seen the movie, which I'm sure you have by now, it's been probably a week and a half since it's been out. But if you haven't, and you don't want spoilers, now's your chance. Okay, you're still here, so let's talk about this movie. There was so much they did great with this. A couple of things I wasn't too sure about. I've already talked about what I thought about every character in my non-spoiler review. I absolutely love Paul Rudd. I think he's very funny. He got this really unique, quirky sense of humor. Evangeline Lilly, I thought, could have been more likable. They could have created a more likable character. She was very stoic, very to the point, very business in her approach to things. And like I said in the last review, if you don't know, she is at one point the leader of the Avengers. So she's going to be in the next Avengers movie, and I'm pretty excited about that. But, I mean, if you have a character this big, I do think you should take the time to make her a little bit more likable. That's my thought on it. Michael Douglas did an amazing job as Hank Pym. Hank Pym being the absolute jerk, but very intelligent, very creative. Michelle Pfeiffer, my big complaint with this movie is that you did not get very much of Michelle Pfeiffer at all. You have an amazing actress, an amazing background, and not too much that she's done has been bad. And you make her literally the least amount of time in the movie. So I thought that was bad. Cassie Lang, Abby Forston, very cute, very likable, very funny at times. And Scott Lang and Cassie Lang, the interaction between father and daughter there, I thought was very good. And you open up with that, in fact. You open up the whole movie with, they have this mock like maze that they've made out of cardboard, and Scott Lang is taking Cassie Lang on this little treasure hunt to find this treasure. And it's actually a really cute moment. I thought it was very well done. It establishes the bond between father and daughter, but it also establishes that Scott Lang is on house arrest, which we talked about, and they go down this man-made slide that they had, and literally out the back door, and he puts his foot through the fence, and you know, that's a little bit past because he's got an ankle monitor on, and it goes past the line of where it's supposed to go, and so next thing you know, you have a bunch of agents swarming the house to make sure he wasn't trying to get anywhere. So you establish a few things there. You also establish Randall Park, who plays Jimmy Woo. You see him very quickly. And another guy that has got very, very good comedic timing. This guy was very funny all the way through. Lawrence Fishburne and Hannah john-kamen. They played Dr. Bill Foster and Ava, or the Ghost, respectively. And you meet Bill Foster maybe a quarter way through the movie, and he's the guy who used to work with Hank Pym, and Michael Douglas, Hank Pym, Evangeline Lilly, Hope Van Dyne, and Paul Rudd, Scott Lang are all trying to get Michelle Pfeiffer, Janet Van Dyne, out of the quantum realm. And I'm sure if you've seen the first movie, you know that Michelle Pfeiffer, Janet Van Dyne, the original Wasp, went subatomic so that she could slip through the cracks of this missile that was made to destroy the missile, save a bunch of people. But then she kept going smaller and smaller into the quantum realm. But they found out that she is still alive, and they're trying to pull her out. At the same time this is happening, you run into a character called the Ghost, Ava, which actually, if you don't know the Ghost, Ava was actually a guy in the comics, and he was originally an Iron Man enemy, and pretty big because he's, you know, very big into computer espionage and things like that. He used to be an IT guy, so he's very technically sound and can really disrupt things from within. And that's one of the things that makes Ghost so dangerous as an enemy, especially for the Avengers. But here they kind of switch it up a little bit. First of all, obviously Ghost is a woman, which no big deal. I think Hannah did a great job. there were a couple other things that I was really questioning, and we'll get into that in a second. But right now, the biggest question mark I had is Ghost, Ava, is trying to pull out energy from the quantum realm directly from Janet Van Dyne to heal herself, because Ghost is kind of caught in a state of flux. She's kind of caught somewhere in between the phantom realm and the real world, and it's actually kind of handy for her because she's been able to utilize it to phase through objects, and it lets her go right through any material, and made some very cool scenes there, very visual, and honestly the effects for that were done very, very well. I really liked it. So you find out that Ava is trying to do this, and Bill Foster is her dad, the Lawrence Fishburne character. So when Scott Lang and Hank Pym go to Bill Foster to get his help, it actually turns out being a setup. And then you find out that Bill Foster is actually trying to get Ava fixed. Now there's a couple of plot holes with that, but nothing that really took away. The big thing that I took away at the end of this, two things. One, at the end, they finally do pull Janet Van Dyne out from the quantum realm, and two things happen. One, somehow Janet Van Dyne is now able to cure Ghost just by touching her. She puts her hands on her, hands glowing, and is able to mysteriously fix the Ghost conundrum, makes her come back to this reality instead of half in the quantum realm. Okay, that didn't really make sense as to why or how that happened. There was no explanation to it, it was just there. And it was kind of odd. The other thing for me, personally, as a fan of the comics, is at that point, it seems like there's this nice bond between Ant-Man, the Wasp, and Ghost. Which, okay, they're essentially turning Ghost into a hero, in a way. And the thing about Ghost throughout this whole movie is they didn't want her to be a villain. They wanted her to be somebody you felt sorry for. She wasn't really a villain, at least in the sense that, she just had this diabolical plan. No, she was just trying to survive. She was dying, and she had to figure out a way to course correct this. So in a way, you can be very sympathetic to her. And, people have said that there's a problem with some of the Marvel villains. Honestly, I think Marvel has had some of the best villains. Thanos, Loki, I thought was very good. Zed, I thought was very, very, very good. And I didn't think that Ghost was bad. I really did not think that Ghost was bad at all. I think it made sense for what she was doing. And yeah, she's the villain, but that doesn't need to mean like 100% evil. And I think that's a big separation there. Because honestly, even Thanos, if you think about it, it made sense in his mind what he was doing. So, there was that. But Ghost kind of being like a legit hero at the end, kind of, it seemed like. I don't know that set well with me because Ghost is not a hero. Now, sometimes he has been an anti-hero going after the big corporations in the comics, things like that. But has definitely not been, the good guy per se. So we'll see where that goes. A couple of things about the comedy that I really, really enjoyed. One thing was there was this segment where there's this group of guys who is trying to get some material from Hank Pym and Hope Van Dyne, and it winds up not turning out so well, and so they go after Scott Lang's friends, Lewis being the main one, and they have this truth serum, and there's this big build-up. They're talking about truth serum. Is it a truth serum? There's no such thing as a truth serum, but it is a truth serum. And it really lands in a few minutes when they actually use it, and Lewis is just telling the truth about everything, and it turns into an absolutely hilarious segment. It was really funny. I had to laugh. Honestly, I don't know that there was anybody not laughing in the theater at that too. Like, it was just very well done. And there was actually a scene toward the end of the movie where Michael Pena and a couple of his buddies round up, you know, the rest of the bad guys, and they actually give them the truth serum, so they're confessing to everything to the cops. And that was pretty damn funny too, honestly. So the truth serum thing was an amazing bit, honestly, for this movie. It really was great. Now let's talk about some of the visuals. The quantum realm was kind of weird for me. It was cool because you got to see a lot of these microscopic creatures in very large form because you're so tiny. And they had some cool visuals with it. I do think that it looked a little campy though. Visual effects for Ghost were amazing. Like the quantum realm phasing in and out of, I thought that looked absolutely gorgeous on screen. But again, you know, Ava and Scott being on the same page at the end, don't know that that really resonated with me. I talked about how there's very little Michelle Pfeiffer, and I really wish that they would have used her more. I hope that there's another installment where they do actually utilize Michelle Pfeiffer because she is so damn good. And the only other thing that really stands out to me is the end credit scene. There's a actually I should say it's a mid-credit scene because the end credit scene is practically nothing. The mid-credit scene, you have Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne, Hope Van Dyne, and Scott Lang, and they're getting Scott Lang to go into the quantum realm to pull out some type of energy that I guess is supposed to be very good to help out Ghost. So Paul Rudd, he goes subatomic, he goes into the quantum realm, and then the other three are supposed to pull him back out. And he starts saying, guys, where are you? I'm ready to come back, and you know, this, that, and the other. And then they switch scenes, and you literally see nothing but ash where the three people used to be, which is quite literally Thanos at the end of Avengers turning everybody to dust. So apparently we lost Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne, and Hope Van Dyne. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they course correct that, because not only that, but you've got Scott Lang still stuck in the quantum realm. So really, if you think about it, you lost 4 main characters there. Like literally the 4 main characters of the movie. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how they fix this. I mean, you have to believe that they're going to. You would imagine there's going to be another Ant-Man the Wasp, another Spider-Man, another Black Widow, or Black Panther rather. I mean, everybody's made the speculations already. But you don't really know, and that's the weird thing. Like, you know, you have all these ideas, but there's also that what if in the back of your head. So I've already given this movie my grade. I thought it was a 7 out of 10. I thought it was very, very good, very funny at points. I really loved the truth serum scene. Didn't necessarily make sense with what they did with the Ghost entirely. I didn't care that they changed her to a woman. I thought Hannah John-Kamen did a wonderful job as the Ghost. Yeah, I really didn't have much problem with it. A lot of people, you know, I think they just, after Black Panther and then Avengers and then you go to something that is smaller, you know, it's like they almost feel disappointed. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me because not everything can be the scale of the Avengers or Black Panther. So I thought it was very, very good, very well done. Some very eye-popping action. There was another scene, actually, before I end this review, there was another scene where Cassie, Scott Lang's daughter, wanted to take a certain trophy to show and tell, and Scott Lang had to go get it. So the Ant-Man and the Wasp go to the school, and for some reason Ant-Man's suit wasn't working properly and he got stuck at about 2 feet high, and there was some really good physical comedy in there. That was, oh my god, it was funny at times. So that was cool. Very, very, very cool. So ladies and gentlemen, I was thoroughly impressed with it. Let me know what you think in the comments, especially the parts about Ghost. If you're familiar with Ghost, do you agree with what they did? And did you love the school scene? Like I said, I really love the physical comedy there from Scott Lang. So that is my take on it. That's my non-spoiler review. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz. Cage Nation, out.